Hello everybody, this is Howard the Teaser King coming to you with, where are we? We are in week 8 of college football. Unbelievable. And this is a huge week. I got so many games picked. It's unbelievable. I got 6 locks going. I've got 4 in the, well, I got 3 in the pros, 3 in college. Nice, evened it out. Definitely like, now as you get later into the year, you now have better stats for this year. You can see teams like Washington State killing everybody, and Colorado's better, and USC got a new quarterback, they're better, and South Florida looks good. So you get a better grip on the teams as you get further into it. You see Florida State has no defense. So you end up getting, now I have more to judge to make the plays on, where in the beginning you're kind of, I'm betting on like senior quarterbacks, and I'm betting against freshman quarterbacks. That's my guide the first 2 or 3 weeks. Now it doesn't matter. I've seen the quarterbacks. I do a quarterback analysis, and I go, okay, this is a good quarterback, this isn't. So you're able to know who's good, and then you can apply it to the year, and you bet on these. So anyway, so I've run a discount on the locks. I just want people who are down. I get a lot of emails. Oh, I'm down. Can you help me? And I said, well, I can advise you for the $50, but I can't give you my locks. So I decided to cut the locks down to 65 for this week. I got 6 of them. So therefore, for only the 65, they can then buy them and get caught up. I'm 14-2 my last 16 locks, and I feel like I have really good locks going this week. A couple of mismatches, strong teams against weak teams, strong dogs, dogs that should be favored. So I've got that all played out. I think I even have one over/under in the lock. So it's 2 pro games and a pro over, and 3 college games. So let me give you some games here, as I've been doing. What's today? Thursday. Okay. Well, let's go to the weekend. All right, Wisconsin's playing Iowa. Wisconsin's laying 3.5, over under 42.5. What I like here is, let's break it down. I mean, there's Wisconsin. Do I want Wisconsin in 2.5 on the road? Iowa's good. They're about the same team. They're both strong running teams, strong defensive teams. Quarterbacks really are average. Beathard's maybe a little better because the kid's freshman. But I was impressed that they did get 400 yards on Ohio State, Wisconsin. But that's the concern, is it's hard for teams to get really high 2 weeks in a row. They had to get high for the Michigan State game. Then they got high for the Michigan game. They have a week off. Now they're at home getting very high against for Ohio State. And now they got to go to Iowa and try to get the same level of intensity they had against Michigan and Ohio State, and it's just not possible. I just don't see that happening. I see they're probably banged up between Michigan and Ohio State. I kind of like Iowa plus the 9.5, but I think I like the under better. 42.5. We can go over 36.5, which I don't see how that makes sense. You have 2 defensive teams, 2 unders, who basically you have 2 under teams, and basically they don't have good quarterbacks, and they're basically, pretty much low-scoring teams normally. I mean, they held Michigan to 23 if you count the 3 field goals. And then they held Ohio State to 23. I'm talking Wisconsin. Iowa has been pretty low scoring except for the Northwestern game. But I don't see that here because they're going to just be running the ball. Wisconsin, they might have a few passes, but it's just going to be hard to score in this game, period. So I like this game to go under 48.5. I think that's the proper way to play it. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. It's a pressure game. Both teams need it. Both teams have lost, and they're both in the West Division. So even though Wisconsin lost to Michigan and Ohio State, they can still win the West. I mean, Nebraska's there undefeated, but they haven't. I don't think they've played a West team yet. So I think if Wisconsin beats Iowa and beats Nebraska, I think they'd probably be in it, in the contention for it. So anyway, that's how I look at it. This is basically a playoff game. It tends to be close to the vest. Defense, running, punting, field position. That's more the way they're going to play this game. It's not going to be wide open, and both teams are so talented defensively. I just don't see a big scoring game here. I'm going to say 20-17, somewhere in that neighborhood should be the final. Like I said, if Wisconsin held Michigan to really 23, let's say, even though they missed 3 field goals, and then Ohio State to 23, how the hell is Iowa going to get more than 23? So I don't see Iowa getting in the teens. Wisconsin probably getting in the teens because Iowa's got a good defense and they're going to be at home. So this is going to be a really low-scoring game here. That's the first one. Second game, I'll give you a game. All right, let's go with. I hate to use that team. All right, let's go to. All right, let's go to LTech against Florida International. LTech, Louisiana Tech's lane 16.5, over under a 65. If you look at the stats, you go, okay, here's LTech. They average 41 on offense, 32 on defense. Florida International averages 21 on offense, and they give up 32 on defense. Florida International looks better than they are. They've just won 3 games. They beat UMass, they beat Charlotte, and Florida Atlantic. Probably the 3 worst teams in college football. So therefore their stats are a little bit skewed. Louisiana Tech's rolling along. They need the game. Now they average 41. They got a very good quarterback. Florida International doesn't have a very good quarterback. They're a pretty low-scoring team. Let me see some notes I got on it. Florida International is, where the hell are they? Hello, Florida. Okay, Florida International, a weak quarterback, and they have an average run game on offense. So they're not much to speak about offensively. They were 13-37 offense defense, but because they played Florida Atlantic and Charlotte, who give up 40 points a game on defense, they're able to score more. Once you balance that out, and they're going to play a real team, Louisiana Tech, they're going to score 10, 15 points in this game. So the first question you ask is, do I want Louisiana Tech minus 10, Florida International plus 22, or do I want to go over 59 or under 71? Well, the rule when you're going over is you've got to have 2 explosive teams, especially to get this number, 65, so you go over 59. So let's look at that. How are you going to get there? Florida International is going to give you 20. That means Louisiana Tech's got to give you 40. Louisiana Tech probably will give you 40, but I don't think Flint can get to 20, or Florida International. And I think Louisiana Tech probably gets into the 50s here. Remember, Florida International gives up 32 a game. It was 37, but again, they played 3 really weak teams who don't have good offenses, so it made the number come down. So you're looking at a team that probably gives up about 40 points, and they'll give up about 40 points to Louisiana Tech here. So I see Louisiana Tech probably scoring 50. Florida International probably 10 or 13. So it's a 63, and you could go over 59. But if Louisiana Tech's going to score that many points, and you only got to lay 10, it's much easier to take Louisiana Tech minus 10 because there's no way Florida International can keep up with them. And that's the beauty of my little system here, figuring out, do I want to take the team or the over-under. If Florida International is a high-scoring team, like a Middle Tennessee or West Kentucky, I say let's go over and let's not mess with the game, because you don't know with these great quarterbacks, high-scoring teams, anything can happen. But in this case, you have a good quarterback in Louisiana Tech playing a weak quarterback in Florida International. You have a team that's going to score probably in the 40s or 50s against a team that maybe gets to the 20s. So I can mess around with the over, or I could say, you know what, Louisiana Tech shouldn't have any problem laying the 10 and getting the W. I mean, they're going to score 40 or 50. Florida International will be in the teens. 50 to 14. That's a 40-point win there. Why would I mess around with the over-under? And what if Florida International gets shut out, or Louisiana Tech gets up 42 to 3, and then they just start running the ball and running the clock out, and you don't get there? So to me, it's pretty obvious Louisiana Tech is going to get the W. They're going to win by more than 10. Once you look at Florida International stats, they're a little padded by Florida Atlantic and Charlotte and playing those type of teams. And that's the hard part about college. You actually have to go in and look at the game and look at the team and look at who they played, and then they're like start backing out. Wait a minute, they played a high school team when they play these Division III teams, or Division II, whatever they call it, FCS or whatever now. It's not important, but when they play them, and there was one team I did, it was a MAC team, and they had beaten somebody 65-0, and all the other scores were like, they got in the teens. So I subtracted it out, and they went from a 27 average to an 18 average. And that's what I mean. To get the right look of the team, you got to take out that Division II team and look at who they played. So Louisiana Tech's much more the class. They need this. All the conference games they need. They want to win the conference. That's all these teams' goals. So it's not like Louisiana Tech won't be fired up for Florida International. Should be good weather. It's in Florida. Hopefully no more hurricanes come running through. So with that said, take Louisiana Tech laying the 10 or 10.5, whatever you got. Please shop around. You must shop for the spreads. I can find a point difference, and I've tied a few big teasers that I need. And it's funny. I picked some games straight for my friends who want to do parlays. They want to do straight parlays, so I give them like a 5-team parlay. Or in a pool, there's one guy, he's paying me, I pick his pool for him, but they're straight. And it's funny, is I'll give him my best games, and then I'll win with the teaser, but he loses with the straight bet. And it's amazing. Like last week I gave him South Florida, that was my lock, and they're laying 19 or 20. I teased them down to 13.5. I think it was 19.5, threes down to 13.5. They win by 15. So I win in the teaser, and he loses with the straight pick. It just goes to show you how important those 6 points are. People don't think they're important, but if they're used correctly, if it's getting 8s down to 2s, if it's getting 2s over 7 to 8, if they're used correctly, they're very powerful. Just you gotta know the teams, and you gotta have your strategy in place. But that's the key to it. So anyway, there's your lock for the week, or it's not a lock. There's your play for the week. Take the under in the Iowa-Wisconsin game. Two good defensive teams. Should be a low-scoring game. Under 48.5 with Louisiana Tech laying 10 over Florida International. They should win by 30. Again, I have my lock special going this week. If you want to get ahead, if you're down, you want to make up some ground, I would highly recommend it. I have 6 very good locks going, and you can use them all over the place. So if I give you a lock, last week it was South Florida, you play it in 2 or 3 teasers. I mean, you don't just play it in one teaser. So if I give you a lock of South Florida, you play it with different teams, and So you already have one side of the teaser. All you got to do is come up with 2 or 3 teams you like, put them in 2 or 3 different teasers. Um, Being 6 locks, you can play a 6-team teaser, or if you find a 7th team, you can play a 7-team teaser with the 6 locks, and go from there, and not have, boom. You can bet $50, get 7-team teaser. You got what, 5 or 6 to 1 on the odds. 50 turns into 350 or something like that, and you can trap it with the 7th game. So you can play the 6 locks with the Monday night game. You can do a lot of different things. So it's very good. It's a very good week to do it. Again, it's only $65, which is nothing. I'm on a 14-2 run on my locks, so I know I've heard, well, I want to see how you do and when you get hot. Well, okay, I'm 14-2. That's pretty freaking hot. Look at my history page to see that. You don't have to hear it from me. You'll look at it. Again, I had what I have 6 locks last week. I went 5-1. So I was 9-1. So now I'm 14-2, and so I'm pretty focused in now. And I'm looking. I could lock so many teams this week. It's insane. I'm like, who do I lock? Do I lock this team, that team? What do I do here? Anyway, www.teaserking.com. Buy the locks for $65. Buy the package for $150. I'm gonna have a huge pro week. I could basically lock 8 or 9 teams in the pros. You can buy that for $100 if you don't want, or you can buy the locks and that for $165. Very good price. You can make a lot of money this week. This is a very, very strong week. All right, everybody. It's Howard the Teaser King. www.teaserking.com. Please let me know if you have any questions. I don't mind helping you with a little help on some teams, but really I'm charging for advisor, $50, and you can list me your games, and I'm going to answer them. But don't just say, who do I like in all the games, because that's really the role of the advisor. And like I said, I'll give you 1 game or 2 games if you're really hunting for it, but that's the role of the advisor, is when you like your own games and you're asking my advice, should I play them or not? Because I can win you a lot of money by saving you from playing one way when I'm going the other way. So please be careful with that. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Good luck to everybody. Again, it's Howard the Teaser King. The play again is Iowa, Wisconsin under, Louisiana Tech minus 10 or 11.